We've got our lender here, Denise McManus, who's going to be our moderator, answering questions for all these successful women. We appreciate you being here. Afterwards, I personally am going to have lunch. They have amazing food down there and shoot some guns. You guys are welcome to do that. The range is open for a couple hours. You can rent guns if you want to, but it's a lot of fun. It's a cool place. And that's it. My team is here, Alexis and Lindsay. We do all kinds of things to help you guys, realtors, with your marketing. So we'd love to get to know you better if you'd like an appointment with us and see what we can do to help you grow your business, because that's what we do best. So there you go, Denise.
Wow. Thank you.
Hi. Oh, you have a mic.
Jenny,
You might as well.
I forgot about our other sponsor, Jenny.
Yeah.
Woo!
The knives work, people.
The knives work. So who else has Cutco? By show of hands. Do we have any Cutco owners in the room?
Absolutely.
How long have you had your Cutco for?
5 years.
5 years. And what do you think of it?
It's great.
Love it. Awesome. Can I put my stuff in? Is that cool? Okay. So, quick trivia question. What do you all think is the best month of the year to give a gift to your clients? Every guesses? Every month?
December.
Good answer. December. So it's actually November. So we actually have a November strategy to appreciate your clients. Any guesses why it's November and not December?
Black Friday.
Thanksgiving, yes. So, although your clients appreciate anything you give them at any time, we highly recommend that you give gifts, especially Cutco, but any gift people love, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. So for anyone that hasn't heard of Cutco, what my team does is we help 4,000 plus realtors all across the state and lenders to stay in front of their clients. And with the current state of the market, that's more important than ever before. So just imagine that there was something out there that was super easy, that took 10 minutes to set up, and you didn't have to think about it for the rest of the year. It was best in class, and every time your clients ate something or had to prepare food, they would think about you. How cool would that be? So that is exactly what we do at Cutco. So to give you an idea of what this looks like, so it's the world's finest cutlery with your info engraved. I know that might seem kind of weird at first, but people that have Cutco, they absolutely swear by it. I've had people tell me in the last 22 years since I've been working here that they've actually fought about who would get to use the Cutco, like husband and wife fight about it if they have Cutco and other knives. And when people get divorced, they actually fight about who gets to keep the Cutco. So they come in a couple of different colors, and we recommend engraving your logo or sharpest realtor in town. Thank you for spreading the word. Stop cutting my commission is another thing. Totally kidding with that. If you want to be really tied into the seasonality and the fact that it's almost November, you could do something like this and put here to serve you. Thank you for letting me be a slice of your life, or something cute like that. And you can also engrave your client's name on one side, and we do drop ship across the country. So the point of the engraving is that most people, they do forget their realtor's name after just a couple of years. So you're top of mind like right after the sale, but not so much 2, 3, 5 years down the road. And anytime they're entertaining in the kitchen, they're gonna, higher chance of those natural conversations about you coming up with their friends and family. Like, oh, what is that? Where did you get that from? That's why we have the red Cutco, and we also have white Cutco. So those different colors do a better job of sparking conversation. The other nice thing about it that our clients love is that it's fully tax deductible. So when you do your taxes, legally you only are supposed to write off $25 for every gift. And most realtors spend more than that, but with Cutco, it's marketing, so you can actually write off 100%. And they're super easy to give. You just grab your gift, you give it, and you're done. You don't have to think about it. Last time I checked, everybody eats. No one is tearing food apart with their fingers. So, my time is up, but what I'm gonna do is just invite you to send me a quick text if you want order information. We do have some specials going on right now for the fall. So if you want any information on prices or how to place an order for either personal Cutco or for client appreciation gifts, I'm just gonna have you grab your phone real quickly and send me a text with the word sharp and your name and your email. So if you guys can grab your phone, and I'm gonna give you my cell phone number. The first 3 people to text me, I'll give you an extra $100 of free Cutco. Sound good? Okay, so my phone number is 480. Give you guys a minute. Okay, so 480-721-9759.
One more time.
480-721-9759. So 721-9759. So sharp, your name and your email.
Thank you. I will say Cutco knives, this is loud. See, I don't really need a microphone, but when they hand me one, I can't say no. Cutco knives are great. They really are wonderful, and they do make a good gift. Anybody else having trouble getting dressed in the morning these days? I never know what to wear. It's like nice and cool in the morning, and then it's 127 in the afternoon. Right. So, good morning. I am Denise McManus. I am a loan whisperer. I'm also a licensed real estate agent, so I know what all of you go through, and like to think that's a huge advantage to me when I'm helping you win a contract for your clients and know exactly what to look for, and then on the lending side, know what kind of guidelines we can accept on those closing concessions, which we all love to get right now for our clients. But super happy to be here this morning with each and every one of you, so I'm going to just pass the mic if you'd like and have you each briefly introduce yourself, okay?
Hi, I'm Rosalinda Galindo O'Hare, and I'm with Keller Williams Realty. Thanks.
Penny Mackey with ProSmart Realty. I'm Samantha Gibson, I go by Sam. I'm with Fathom Realty and What Up G Home Team.
Leslie Wright, and I go by Leslie, your right agent, and I'm with Home Centric Real Estate.
My name is Kimberly Toko. I am the business breakthrough intuitive and the nation's only metaphysical real estate agent. The story of how I got there is a long one, so I'm just going to say tenacious real estate, and they call me Tenacious T, and there's a reason for that.
Well, how do I go after that? I'm Katie Menchaca. I'm with ProSmart, and I'm the Pink Flamingo Realtor.
Perfect. Thanks, ladies. All right, so we just want to get to know all of you a little bit today and find out what are your just such a group of badass agents, right? And it makes it even more special as women. And we've all gone through our own little thing to be where we are and be successful. So I want to ask a few questions, especially about how you're navigating in today's environment, which seems to throw us a curveball almost every single day. So who wants to start first and tell me how they're really not just surviving but thriving in this market?
I can go first.
Perfect.
So the number one driving force for me is I have 5 children, happily divorced twice. My kids are 23, 21, 19, 8, and 6. They all belong to me. So failure is not an option. I think it's really important. This month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, in case you guys are aware or not aware, DVAM. I am a domestic violence survivor, not a victim. It has been, I think you can use things as your reason or your excuse. I use it as my reason, as my purpose, my driving factor. So it gets me up on the days I don't want to get up. It helps me be able to be humble for my clients. It allows me to be aggressive. I think in this market, you have to be aggressive. But the word aggressive, I think, can come across vicious, right? I think you can have couth, and I think that you can use aggression in a positive sense. So you can build solid relationships with industry professionals and competitors. You can build solid, aggressive relationships with your service partners, your title companies, your home inspectors, your landscapers, your painters, your contractors. Being able to create those types of environments and ecosystems for your business clients and prospective clients see that interaction. So we're on social media so much. I say I'm a Facebook whore, an Instagram whore, whatever. I suck at the Instagram one. Reels, I suck. But I recognize that people see me. I allow them into my life. I am 1,000,000% transparent. I've been transparent about my journey. I've been 1,000,000% transparent of my struggles, of my wins. And it allows clients to want to work with me. And so I have a truly 100% referral-based business simply because I've chosen to be authentically myself through the struggles. I have clients that pray for me equally that I pray for them. There's been challenges like whenever I've gone to court, because again, DVAM, it's never ending. My clients will literally say, hey, I know you're about to go through that. We're ready to buy a house if that will bless you and help you. Cover some of the court costs, if that will bless you. So it's really incredible. It's incredible. So you can handle the shifts, you can handle the ups and downs of the market because your clients stay consistent. But you have to stay consistent for yourself. So you have to choose what you're going to be and how you're going to be. You can either fake yourself or real yourself. That's what I found to work for me.
I love it. Love it. So I think the theme that we're hearing overall here is authenticity, right? And so that really goes such a long way in building our business and our brand. You touched on a couple things with partnerships. So I'm going to toss this question out to the person who wants to answer this next, but partnerships I think are key in this business. You know, as you said, your inspector, your lender, your title partner. I know I take those partnerships incredibly seriously, right? How do you build those relationships? Who wants to answer?
Well, I think it's important, at least when you're first starting in real estate, you're kind of exploring and getting your feelers out there. There's people that you connect with, and sometimes there's just a chemistry. When they have a passion that matches yours, that's just something you want to pursue, and make sure that you also continue to show your appreciation to maintain those relationships. I don't know if anybody
I want to give a different perspective.
Okay.
So I've been in this for about 10 years, and actually Lori was one of the first people to take me to the Women of Strength meeting, which helped me in the beginning. But I want to emphasize here that your title people, your lender, they're spending sometimes some of their own money to do your flyers, to do your advertising, to do your food. And we have to take that into consideration. And can't we print our own flyers? Can't we really bring our own food? Why not use your partners to give back to your client? And in that sense, I have built a very wide community. I don't always use the same people because I've identified the ones that maybe fit my clients more. So I would spread out, and I know this is controversial, but really spread out, get to know each and every one, and lend them the support where you can, instead of always sucking the life out of them.
I love that answer. I can't even wait for the mic. I love that answer so much.
For me, I also feel that partnership is really important. I know that when I first started in the business, I was nervous. I didn't even know who do I go to for questions, for the answers. And for me, I'm the type of person, I'm just very old school, and I try to keep it with loyalty. That's just how I am. And I only use one title company. That's it, American Title. Because the way I feel, if it's not broken, it's not. Don't try to fix it. And it gives me a sense of security also with my loan officer. Without her, I don't think that I would be as successful as I am right now. My market is more Spanish speakers. They speak English, but they prefer to do business in Spanish. And so I have a lot of that market. And so I think that partnerships for me is something that is very important to help with my success. But I tend to stay with one inspector. That same person, just make it like a family. Yeah. And that's how I present it when I do my listings. This is the only ones that I use because I feel confident with them and they trust me because I trust them.
Can I piggyback off of that? Absolutely.
So loyalty, first off, I'm a horrible public speaker, but we'll figure this out. Loyalty, I would definitely say, is my biggest thing. I'm very loyal for the people that I use. Title company, agree. I use one title company. I have one lender, which has recently changed, so I'm trying to work that out. But my life has gone through a really big change recently, and I tell you, because I have been so loyal to the people that I have been with, all of my partners. It's my lender, it's my title company, it's my inspector, it's my locksmith, like no joke. These people have showed up for me in more ways than I can imagine, where I was just so humble and so taken back by everybody that was there for me, including my broker. I'm loyal to him, thick and through. But yeah, so be loyal to the people that are there for you and show that support. So, yeah.
So I think that's a resounding message between all of us here. I mean, Kimberly was really saying the same thing, be loyal, but be loyal to the people who show up for you. And you're absolutely correct. We're all self-employed, right? So we all do spend our own money to help the success of our partnership and build that. And the people that show up are the ones that you want to do business with.
Yep.
And there's no question. And to your point, I mean, you got to have a comfort zone, right? You want to know that when you have a lending partner or a title partner that you're going to get what you need to have done and it's going to be done on time. So all really valid points. But speaking of when you have this sphere of influence, right, your team, and you know, to your point earlier, it's nice to work with people we like, right? And that's part of it. It's a personality match. But when you have this sphere of influence, how do you stay connected to them? And not just your partners, but your clients. What's the best way to continue to nurture that sphere of influence?
I think for me personally, a lot of times it's social media, just because like exactly what Sam was saying, you connect with people when you're looking at them, you're looking at the screen, they're seeing your eyes, it feels like they're talking to you. There's so many occasions when people come and talk to me, or my husband, who's my broker, who I'm definitely loyal to. We've been married for 27 years. Now that's not an easy task, right? These days, 27 years, we have 3 kids and 2 grandkids, and I'm just super blessed to have him. He's who trained me. I'm in my 8th year. I've been a top producer since I started. My first year I sold 24 homes, and I've just increased ever since. And that is because of who you have surrounded by you and your personality, and if you're real and genuine. And I know that people say this all the time, and when I was new, it used to aggravate me because they would be like, oh, you need to have systems, and you need to have, you need to have these things that automated systems. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I sell real estate. I don't know what you're talking about. You do the same thing practically for every buyer, for every seller. There is a process that you go through, and you should have that typed out, and you should do it the same. Make sure you're hitting the same things every time, but after each time you can go through and go, how could I make this a better experience for my client? How could I improve? How could I have handled this better? I go through after every transaction. If my vendors did me wrong, or if they did my client wrong, like I'm reevaluating, and of course I'm loyal to a fault. I will give them multiple chances, sometimes too many, but I just feel like it's how you treat people. If you want to stay connected with them, you should talk to them. They should be your friend. Like, I feel like most people feel like I'm their friend, and they could come and talk to me anytime they wanted. I'm warm and welcoming, and I try to always be that way, and genuine and caring, and I stay in front of them with social media, with email, with all sorts of things. Just a text, hey, I'm thinking about you. Pop-bys are awesome. There's so many things that you can do, but the automation is making sure that you have a system that you actually are following through, even if it's just a checklist. I have a checklist. I would be happy to email it to any and everyone here, because I feel like even if you're a new agent, you should know and have a checklist of what you should do. Even if you don't have a CRM and you're doing all the follow-up, you have to do that. So each month you might be doing it old school and sending a text, an email, or a video to all of your friends and clients and past clients and stuff, because you need that sphere of influence to continue.
So let me ask you, because you've been doing this 8 years and you touched on when you were new, how long did it take you to figure out? I don't know how many of you in the audience are new, but how long did it take you to figure out, and any of you can answer this, what needed to be your system? Because system is very individualized, right? What works for you might not work for you, but you and you. So how long did it take? Kimberly, you had your hand up first.
So when I got into real estate, it was very different. I didn't get into real estate to make money. I got into real estate because I couldn't find an agent to help me. 2 years prior to us wanting to buy a home, I had lost my 13-year-old son to suicide. We had to file a short sale and bankruptcy, and they're like, well, even if you get approved for an extenuating circumstance loan, you're never going to be able to get it to close because no one had seen it closed. And they didn't want to take a chance of showing us homes and then not be able to close. So I did qualify for an extenuating circumstance loan, but I had to get a real estate license in order to get a home. I got through school in 18 days, and we bought that home 45 days later. At that point, I'm like, wow, I'm good at this, and I can actually maybe use this success to become successful so I can share my story. Real estate is not my why or my passion, but families who have been through hardships that want to start a new chapter are. So that became my focus. I gave back 25% of my commission even when I didn't have very much to give back because I wanted to be the real estate agent who based her business on generosity, on giving back, on changing lives. So instead of wearing the suit and finding the fancy cars, I bought gift cards for firefighters. I bought gift cards for teachers, special needs families, and I said, hey, I'm new at this, but I'm going to fight for you, and I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to give up because I know what it's like to be in your shoes. You have to identify what you can give to them that is the same circumstance that you went through, instead of trying to be a Jason Mitchell or an Andrew Bloom. You have to be you in this business, period, or it will burn you out.
I think that's totally true. Just being you, always. I'm very kind of old school, like you were saying. I'll pass by somebody's house and I knew I sold their house 4 years ago, but I'll just reach out to them and say, hey, I was in your neighborhood today, I was thinking about you, just wanted to check in and see how you and the kids are going, or you guys traveling for the summer, or whatever. Facebook, I feel like, and Instagram is very popular now, and people are always just strolling on their page. So comment, because then you're staying top of mind. And then somebody just recently told me, twist those comments to make it a little bit real estate wise. So if they're commenting, I don't know, about something that they're making, or are you making that in your new home, or whatever it may be, just twist it real estate wise just to keep them top of mind. Oh, hey, you are still doing real estate. So, my tidbit.
I love that. So I just want to say I'm really, really proud to say that I've had 2 extenuating circumstances loans in the last 3 years, and those are soul projects, you know, and you do those not because you're going to make money on them necessarily, but you do them because they feel good for the right reasons. And you identify, you find a way to identify with those people, and that's what you. Most of us had another career before we came into real estate, right? And so I love to say I'm like the FTD florist now. I make people happy every day. You wanted to add to this too, or both of you?
Yep, either way. Okay. You guide us.
And I do agree as far as coming across, well, letting people know who you are and where you come from. I come from the small town of Guadalupe, and our parents were migrant workers. I worked in the fields until I was 18 years old in the summertime. My family was in a documentary for Cesar Chavez. And so when I let people know that we work in the fields and, you know, put myself through college in accounting, and that I want to help the Latino community and look out for them, I get a lot of clients because they trust me. And I share my story with them, where I come from, who I am. And just wanted to share that being genuine is very important, and that we're all human beings at the end of the day, and just letting people know your story and your struggles in life. And I'm very open with my clients where I share what I've gone through as a single parent and at one time, and explain all that. And they get to know me and we connect. And that has helped me a lot with my career, just being open and not being ashamed of my past.
Nice.
That's right.
There are no clients, they're only friends.
Okay, so I'm curious, how many of y'all are new agents? Okay. So I will say this, so I've had my license in Texas 20 years, relocated to Arizona about 14 years ago. my ego and my pride, it took me until 6 years ago to get my license here because it didn't reciprocate at the time. Now it does, thank the Lord Jesus. But it was my ego and my pride. I couldn't get beyond myself.
Yeah.
So, but what I will say is this, so when I first got into real estate, I was 21 years old, had 3 kids by that point, single mom, left new home sales to get into real estate. Goes back to this, any failure wasn't an option, but I also needed to pay my bills, I didn't get child support, all that stuff. I will say, some of my best advice is this. I think when you become a new agent, especially now, y'all are in this era of so much technology, it's all about just slapping a noodle to see what sticks. So people are like, go get that shiny damn thing, go get that, I think it's stupid. Don't. I think you need to have an intimate date with yourself, and you need to decide, how do you want to run and operate your business? Because you are a business owner. What do you want that to look and feel like? You get to determine that success. My wisdom is whatever you choose, my 10 cents would be stick with it for 12 months because you're not gonna see instant gratification, and you shouldn't. And if you see instant gratification, it means you're doing something wrong and it's temporary. You need to start creating, like what you mentioned, it's those systems and processes in place. And what do you want that to be? So for example, something that I do, I read this book a few years back, and it talked about letting people know when you're thinking about them. And so I'm on social media all the time, but I'm also the same person. I established a rule 2 years ago. Any time that someone is on my heart, anytime, doesn't matter what time of day, but whenever I think of them, I'm gonna shoot them a text or I'm gonna call them. And people that know me know I will send the most random messages. I was thinking about you today. Hey, just want you to know I love you. I don't need anything. It's amazing because people will write back, I needed that. I didn't know I needed that. And it happens to my clients. I do it for anyone in my sphere. But I also let my clients know, because something I decided as a business owner was I have separation anxiety and traumas. So I fear loss. So I always warn my clients, if you're gonna work with me, you need to understand, you're like stuck with me for life. So if you're gonna be okay with that, then you're welcome in. But if not, if you don't like that whole, like you wanna leave me and abandon me, I can't deal with abandonment issues like that. It's a real thing, right? So I think it's important that you determine how you want to live your life, because your real estate career, and like you mentioned, you can truly become anything you wanna be. Real estate is such a great catalyst. However, you need to decide how you want it to look like. You want to look a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What is that going to look like for me? What do I want to be remembered for? What is your legacy within this career going to do? And it matters. And then hold yourself accountable to that and just give it your best. And then surround yourself with mentors and brokers. Brokers, my brokers are my best friends. Like, they're amazing. They're counselors. They're wise, they're willing to deal with your bad decisions if you make some from time to time, right? So that would be my advice.
Just to answer her question, because it's killing me, right? That she asked. I felt like it took me about 5 years, and I know it's a long time. I feel like I'm a super quick learner, but honestly, if I'm being truthful, I feel like it took me 5 good years. In my 5th year, I finally felt like I knew what I was doing. And because every transaction is different, you could go through 50 things in one transaction, and then the next one only 7 or 8. So it's different each time, and I feel like each time you have another experience, you get that underneath your belt. You feel more confident, you feel more like you know, but if you feel like you know everything, then you're wrong, right? Because you will never know everything in real estate. My husband's been doing this for over 20 years, and even though I admire and respect him, and I feel like he knows more than probably anyone, I feel like everyone still has the opportunity to learn and grow. So what I like to do is I don't think anybody should have to reinvent the wheel. I shouldn't have to reinvent a checklist to go through a buyer process, neither should you. If you don't have support to help you with that, just the basics, then you need to get that support. But I look for other people in the field. So if there's somebody in the field that's killing it, you think they're amazing, and you like how they handle their business, and you want to be like them, I have no shame in copying what they're doing respectfully. I'm not going to go steal their exact same thing, but like, I want to be like somebody else, and so I'm going to mirror my business after what they're doing, because if what they're doing is working, and I feel like we jive as personality-wise, like, then why wouldn't you do that? That's how you're gonna start feeling confident. If first 10 deals you're not even gonna remember, you're not gonna know how you got through them, you're gonna need a broker who advises you, or you need to be on a team. And I'm not on a team. Part of what I like is I get to tell my clients they get to deal with me directly. Doesn't matter how busy I am. Of course I have photographers, of course I might have a TC or somebody that's helping me, but when they wanna talk to me and I'm giving them an update, it's with me, because I don't like when somebody talks to me and then I never see or hear from that person again. But that's me. I know there's a lot of different opinions with that, but it really took 5 years.
I have some controversy.
You have to evolve. Do not think for 1 second that you have to follow a strict guideline, or I'm sorry, you have to evolve in this business. This is a turbulent business and it will chew you up and spit you out. Take the pieces that work for you, rip them off. If you want to try to duplicate them, fine, but evolve it, make it yours, make it better. What makes you different? One of the things I couldn't do when I got in this business was follow the checklist, follow the follow-ups. Oh, hi, I'm Kimberly Toka. That wasn't me. I was a different presence, and I followed that. I'm a $1 million producer that I've given back over $300,000 of my own commission to closing costs for my clients. When everyone told me, no, you gotta get successful first, you gotta get money first, I'm sorry, the family on the other side of the table needs my money now. I didn't listen to them. I took pieces that worked for me. I shadowed people, but I'm always evolving, always. So don't think you have to stick to a formula, make your own.
Totally agree. That's why every time I review my process, it's not the same as somebody else. I'm different.
Well, and I think that's the key, right? We're all individuals, and that's why we say, find what works for you. Find out what works for you individually.
I love that for you.
Mirror the top producers or people that you want to emulate. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't be afraid to ask for advice, but at the end of the day, be you, because if you're not, you lose that authenticity.
And you'll hate your job.
You'll hate
You'll
your
hate
job.
it. Trust me, you'll jab your eyes out.
And this is too complicated of a business if you make it complicated. I mean, because as you said, Kimberly, we have to pivot. This business can be turbulent. Even in the best of times, this business can be extremely turbulent. So it's important you love what you do. You wanted to add to that.
I did. So and I think you can just tell from the panelists that we have up here, it's going to be different for every person.
Right.
Some people need to have checklists. Some people use Excel. Some people use Lion Desk. You just kind of navigate through that and find out what works for you and what brings you the best results. My story's a little different in that I picked up a job waitressing during my college years, got a degree that I wasn't going to use, continued waitressing through homeschooling. Waitressed for a total of 19 years. The last couple of years that I was waitressing, I was actually a real estate assistant for several different realtors. So one of them decided to put me through school to get my license so I could take on more accountability. And then after that, my husband said, well, Melissa needs to buy a home. And it just kind of took off from there. But it was a very easy transition because my experience as a waitress, I'm working with, I have bikers that came in, I have snowbirds that come in. All these different people that you learn to work with. And I love people, and that's why real estate does so well to me, because it's very personal to my clients, just like it was personal to every person that came in to order a chicken fried steak dinner with a salad, but the ranch on the side, no tomatoes, and I want the gravy on the side, and then bacon burnt. You get buyers that are just like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yes,
I
you
am
do.
that person.
Me too.
I want to add to that. Prior to real estate, I owned my own restaurant in Maricopa called Peñasco's Mexican Restaurant. Had that for 11 years. So I totally get what you're saying about you have to be able to relate and remember the client and all of that. So I just found it funny you said about the restaurant business.
Well, my former corporate job, some of my favorite people to hire were servers and wait staff because they do know how to get along with most everyone and they understand individual needs and wants and you can personalities and a very diverse set of business structures. But at the end of the day, we keep coming back to being genuine and individual in what works for all of you. So leaning into that a little bit more and just talking about what has worked for all of you. If there's one thing you could go back and change since the time you started in real estate, what would you have done differently in your first year or two? Anything that you can think of?
For me, I think that I wish that I would have created more of a partnership with my title company and with my loan officer and all my vendors. Trust my brokerage more and not be afraid to ask the questions. I felt like I had to know it all. And you're not gonna know it all. And that's something I wish I would have done. I wish I would have done this 15 years ago.
I think we all have one. We just pass it
Yeah,
down.
we'll
We're all
just-
gonna
yeah,
give
we'll
it.
take
We're
one
all
down
gonna
and
give
pass
it
it
on.
around.
You'll have to come back to me. I need to think on that a moment.
Okay. We will come back to you though.
Mine was, again, I got into it at 21 years old. Houses back then, truly, you could find the $80,000, $90,000 houses out in Texas. So it was like a real thing, right? Get a decent 3-bedroom, 2-bath, good square footage. What I wish I would have done different, so I'm Hispanic. I tried to go help Hispanic families, Spanish speakers. So, but what I did is I sold myself short. What I wish I would have done different, I was so worried of what people would think about me because I was a single mom, 21, with 3 kids. Their jaws just drop when they realize they're mine. Because my kids look Mexican, so my mom looks Mexican. They think that they were hers, but when they realize they're mine, the job, right? I allowed my insecurity to get me. I just damn wish I would have gone after $10 million listings. I wish I would have done $1 million listings. I wish I wouldn't have waited till my 30s and my 40s to get that kind of a price tag of a house. I thought I wasn't allowed to play in that pool. I thought I wasn't allowed to walk in those kind of houses. I sold myself really short, and I just wish that I would have not allowed that fear to lead the way, that I would have allowed my own self and my skill set and power to own those doors.
Ditto.
Boom.
Yeah. The only thing, like, I didn't start real estate till I was 41. I used to work my butt off in jobs that I absolutely hated to make $40,000 a year, and that was working like 50, 55 hours a week, sometimes 60. And now I can make $40,000 in a month. Why didn't I start this a long time ago? I don't know. Probably the same thing. I just didn't feel like I was good enough. I wasn't smart enough, or all of the things, the limiting beliefs that we have. The only thing I wish I would have done different is I wish I would have started it when I was 20, 21, like you, and I would have had a better mindset, and I would have listened to things to encourage my mindset, and I would have done all of these things that I'm doing now 20 years ago.
Well, I always like to tell the ugly of the story. So I started at 41 as well. But again, I had been a stay-at-home mother, and it had been 2 years since I lost my son. So getting into real estate and just discovering that, hey, I could do this, I had no idea who anyone was. I didn't know who the Andrew Blooms were and the Jason Mitchells. I had no idea even how real estate worked. So when I got into a brokerage, I'm like, oh, happy hour, oh, happy hour, oh, happy hour. I wanted to fit in. I dressed like them, I act like them. And I forgot my own healing. I forgot my character. There's even been times, and again, I'll say the ugly of the story, I got drunk at some of those happy hours. And I think back and I'm like, Jesus, that wasn't me. Why are we trying to fit in? Why are we not continuing on our healing journey and finding out how we can serve our community instead of worrying about what all of our peers and people think of us? You're not going to pick up a client at the real estate happy hour, I'm sorry. Maybe you are on the home tour. But your job is not to entertain other real estate agents. Your job is to find clients and find your purpose and continue to heal. That's what I did wrong.
I would say for me is that I'm still struggling through it. But having a database, I don't still to this day have a strong database, and I just rely on my phone. But if I would have started 5 years ago and just stuck to it, I would have had every single person in my database in one system, and I still struggle with it. But
That's good.
Yeah. Me too.
Wow. Yeah, I know, right?
So true. I need a VA.
Somebody do it for me.
I love the rawness and the truth. I mean, these are secrets, right? And we all struggle. We all struggle internally with our own self-worth. And are we good enough to be in this crowd? Or are we good enough to list this house? Are they going to find out that I'm a fraud, right? You know, all those things that we do to ourselves. And you guys, you're just bringing it today. And I appreciate the rawness. But
that begs a whole other question. Like it can be a very challenging industry, whether we're trying to compare ourselves to the top producers, whether we're struggling for our next lead or trying to figure out how to work our database, or it can be frustrating. So how do each of you mentally prepare every day to just keep going at it?
We still were waiting on your answer on what you would do differently. She didn't get a
Wine.
chance.
Wine.
We just discussed don't get drunk.
Lots of wine.
Don't get drunk. Don't, meditation. No wine.
I actually held on to waitressing even as my real estate career was starting to take off, because I was treating it kind of like a hobby. And so I was kind of holding on to that security. And even though my husband was a W-2 employee with a salary, yeah, I heard that back there. It took a little while for me to finally jump in. It probably took a couple of years. And then I was like, why didn't I do that sooner? So.
But the question is though, what held you back?
Oh, she was answering the
security.
last one.
Yeah,
Security.
yeah.
Lack of security.
Yeah, holding on to security. And I'm sorry, the new question was, I already lost track of that. Katie answered with wine. I know that I do like wine, and I have a glass of wine in my bathtub like every night. But what was the question?
What do we all do to mentally prepare and keep ourselves strong?
I won't drink wine to prepare. That's at the end of the day. That doesn't work for me. Just having that mind that this is what I do, and I love it. And my overall picture is I love to do missions, and I couldn't do it as I was raising my kids. I was staying at home, homeschooling, and doing real estate on the side. So to be able to go into other countries and to help them, and I'm just going to get a little teary-eyed here. I mean, I think the best mission that for me that I was on was Ukraine, and seeing those people there and helping people and to tell them, you're American, why are you here? We're here to help. And the tears that came into their eyes, because they knew that I was leaving my safety and my security and my house and my Starbucks to go over there to help them through what they were going through. And to know that, we had been standing behind them when we were supporting them and did not like what Putin was doing, and it just meant so much. And that is huge to me. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go again. So it's like, well, I keep selling houses. I continue waitressing, working with people, doing real estate. It's just instead of food, it's houses, and it's what I love to do, and I have that huge passion, and that keeps me going. That's what I want, so.
I love serving people, I'll disclose that, okay? But I listen to rap music. I throw my hair up, I dance in my house, constantly shaking my butt in my house, with and without my children present. I go to the gym. I go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week. I don't do more than that. I go for 30 minutes, do 10 minutes on the treadmill, and then I go do weights. I do that because then it allows me to eat all the carbs I want, because I stress eat, so I recognize that. Love me some sugar, love me some pasta, some bread. But I do that. I drive year-round with my sunroof open. People think I've lost my mind. Yes. But I blare on the heater when necessary, and I blare on the AC when necessary. Wear cool sunglasses. I have to, it's such a mindset. Even today, getting up here, so I'm very introverted by nature. Have massive social anxiety, I have suicidal depression. So I have to vamp myself up. I store my energy when I need to, so that I can give out my energy when I need to. But I think those things matter. I'm very visual, so I prepare myself every month. I put a certain amount of yellow folders and blue folders at my desk. Yellow is for a seller, blue is for a buyer, and I will be damned if I leave that month without filling every single one of them. I will not, I don't. So there's times where I have to work late. But again, I think it goes back to this, find what works for you. And then
You need to rise with the sun in silence. You need to listen to the birds. You need to appreciate the beauty of Source, Creator, God, and become comfortable with your darkness. That's the thing. It is never not going to be there. You need to become comfortable and allow your eyes to adjust to the darkness so you can see the light. Not every day is going to be a good day. You're gonna wake up some days because you fucked up on a deal, because you didn't make that commission, because you didn't land that listing, because you got yelled at by, I don't know, your title because you yelled at them, because that can happen, I've done it. And you're going to have to forgive yourself and not stumble over what's behind you, but begin hunting for joy the second your eyes open. Leave the phone down. Don't turn those lights on. Stay in silence. Don't even listen to the music. Calmness is your superpower, and it's what's going to save you when you're faced with your darkness.
You asked what our motivation is, and I feel like recently it's been me. I'm going through a life change right now where I'm going through a divorce. He decided to walk out of the blue. So it has been life changing for me, and really coming to, I'm a badass woman, and I've got this. I don't need to be in a relationship. I don't need a man to help me figure this out. I've got this. I have 3 little kids that are all under 5. I can do this myself.
I sure can.
That's right.
Thank you.
Well, you guys are just, each answer, each question just, again, exudes the confidence and just keeps blowing me away. I'm gonna switch up a little bit here. I wanna talk about marketing, right? Because a few questions, a lot of things we wanna get to, but let's talk about marketing. Is anybody here in the group doing any sort of marketing that no one else is doing? Do you think you've got like the secret sauce, something that nobody's thought of?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it.
Let's hear what Randall's saying.
I do want to share the last question. What motivates me with, I've learned to shift gears, my mind. I told Alexis, I create my world. It may seem like la la land to people, but I have 6 adults. I'm an empty nester, 4 grandchildren. And in my life right now, what I'm doing is I'm building my relationship with my family. Family that I didn't put time into when I was younger. I have my cousin right here. And that's what works for me is I don't want to feel like the only relationships that are important to me is because they bring me money. I also want to feel like I'm putting time into my children. I was in the restaurant business for 11 years. I didn't put time into my kids that much because I was working so much. So now I'm making up time with my kids and with my families, my cousins, my aunt, anyone. And I'm a girl's girl. So my girlfriends are very important to me. I'm that girlfriend that you can share with and a secret stays with me. And so that's something really important to me, and that keeps me going also.
Nice.
But as far as marketing, I'm sorry. So I have Alexis here, and I love you so much. She gets me, and it's taken a long time. Lori, she's awesome too. I mean, I feel like you guys are family to me, to be honest with you. But I have a binder. Well, Alexis makes a binder for me for every deal. I get more listings than buyers. So when I sell or you go with a buyer, I have her make me a binder for that home. She puts everything like in the regular binder is a home binder. She does that. But what she does is she makes me a tab for projects and for insurance, for warranty, and there's other ones that she puts in, and she puts all the clear pockets in there. And I deliver that. And I tell them, this is a binder for you, so when you're doing your home projects, you have your painting, you have everything in one binder, you have your taxes, your home warranties, your insurance, even for your car, everything is there, and just keep it in your kitchen, the cabinet. I get so much positive feedback for that. As a matter of fact, I represented the seller and I took it to the buyer. Yes, it was, I know. And I went and I said, here's a gift that I have for you guys, and there's the buyers, and this is a gift. And they loved it. And she says, you're my agent. My agent didn't even do this for me, and for now on, and I've gotten deals with her, and we're friends. And she just appreciated that so much because it helps her with her life to be organized, and we all want to be organized. We just don't have the time to put it together. So to me, I know to some people I'm using like, really? Yes, it has worked for me.
Good.
Thank you, Alexis.
All right.
I make tamales.
I become on this too.
We're right with food. Right with food. Yeah, I make, at Christmas, I make over 400 tamales and my fingers want to fall off. But I do it out of love because I care about them. People think I lose my mind with that. So that's marketing that makes me completely different. I love to cook. I cannot bake to save my life, but I cook, and so I make meals for my clients often. I've learned that you get to bless people how you can bless them. And so my clients know, like if they need a meal, if somebody's gonna get surgery or get sick, they'll reach out to me, Sam, because I always offer, if you need a meal, I mean it. I know where your address is. I will drop off whatever I need to drop off, right? So that's something that I do that I think is important. One that's like creative marketing. So August 6th is National Dollar Day. I've done this thing for 5 years. And what I do is I put a letter together and I mail every single one of my clients and anybody in my sphere $1. And it has the website where they can actually go track that dollar and see everywhere it's gone. So it's funny because one time I was running a little later than usual. This happened last year because my divorce drama. And people were like, are we getting our dollar? I'm like, dollar, yes, we're gonna see where this thing is going. So it's awesome, people love it, and it's something that gets the whole family involved. And I put on there, they get to choose what to do with that dollar afterwards. They can choose to save it, they can choose to spend it, they can choose to gift it forward.
10 years later, it's Tenacious Real Estate, Tenacious Thoughts Podcast, Tenacious Productions, Tenacious Angels, my second book, which I did bring a few here. I based my marketing on who I was. I learned how to make videos because who can afford a $4,000 video for your house? Google this stuff. YouTube is free. Make yourself an experiential expert and vomit all of that. Don't just be like, boom, I got a close, boom, I saved them this much money. We don't care. We really don't care. What we care about is who you are. So I can get to know you and trust you and be like, wow, I bet you that Tenacious chick can get us a good negotiated price on this house. That's what they're gonna remember.
But it's to be real. I think I just clicked something on here.
Oh, you go.
Hello.
Okay.
But it's to be real on your social media too. So if you're doing your postings, be real. So my 3 little rugrats, I show my kids and whatever they're doing, whether it's good or bad, or just funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just be real.
Exactly.
Show your people you.
Mm-hmm.
So brings us back to the market today, right? It's a little rough water, some might say, a lot of us are still doing really great business. I mean, there's something like 6,000 plus homes under contract right now, so there are homes selling. How do we manage through these turbulent times? We're talking about mindset and surrounding ourselves with good, strong people, making sure our peaks are higher than our valleys are low. What's one word of advice or one sentence of advice you could give everyone, whether they're just starting out or 2-3 years into it? You mentioned 5 years before you really knew what you were doing. That's kind of like a normal business, any business startup, right? You got to get to that 3 to 5 year mark before you're like, whoa, what have I just created? So given a market like this, like how do you navigate through a challenging deal? Because we all have them.
Here, you're ready to go.
You are not a real estate agent, you are a solutionist.
You're a counselor.
You are here to find solutions for yourself, for your client, for your life. And let's face it, you've got to have multiple levels of income. In this recession, this is your opportunity to step forward in a new and additional income stream. Fit body, fit mind, fit soul. I got my metaphysical physician degree and certification so that I could educate my clients on fit body, fit mind, fit soul, and sell them the products in which I use. You have to become a multi-dimensional being and solve problems. It's all about solving problems. That's what they look at you for. They're not looking, well, maybe they want to be entertained, but bottom line is, what problem do you solve? And how can you get the word out there that you can solve their problem? Multiple streams of income, period.
I would say if you're going through a difficult I don't know, situation or client or whatever, be real. If you don't know the answer, tell them, I don't know the answer right now, but let me reach out to someone who does, and I'm gonna get right back to you. So tell them that. Don't just make up something that you think is true and then fumble back on it later.
I totally agree with both of what they said. I also think that you need to have great communication skills, because there's nothing worse than not telling your clients what's going on. They have to know what's going on. Your sellers might be frustrated. I have a few listings that I wish were sold or under contract that aren't. My clients want to know what I'm doing for them. They want to know what type of marketing I'm doing. They want to see all of the stats. They want to see communication and me talking to them. If I just got nervous and went, wow, the market sucks, I don't know what to tell you, that's not a good answer, in my opinion, and you need to own it. You need to be responsible for your part. You're doing everything you can. And if your clients know that you're doing everything that you can and you're communicating with them on a regular basis, then I feel like they will have the confidence to stick it out with you, and trust you and go through the hard valleys and the highs and the lows, because they trust you. You have to be confident sometimes, even if you're not. But I agree, being genuine and real and telling them the truth. There's been lots of times where I'm like, hey, this listing isn't selling. I put it on social media and go, what do my clients need to do? Because sometimes they don't listen to me. Right. It's okay to ask for help. That's why you have a brokerage. That's why you have friends. That's why you have people that surround you that can help you. There's no shame in asking for help, in my opinion. And being confident to an extent, of course, but also the communication is just super key to me.
Yeah.
So I think something that's important, so I'm fluent in Spanish, fluent in English. I've been through a couple trends where the market tanks and does what it does over 20-something years, right? I'm scrappy by nature. I'm a provider, right? I have to provide for my children. And so something that I've done is English-speaking agents, y'all don't speak Spanish. The smart agents, so I'm gonna say this. There's some agents that want to act like they can do a service in helping a Spanish-speaking client. They just want the commission because they cannot communicate. I do not believe that's in the best interest of that customer and that client, and it's insulting and I hate it, right? But it's up to me to help educate, like, hey, we're all licensed, and by being licensed, you get referral fees, hello, in-state, out-of-state, Spanish-speaking, whatever. Learn your niche, stay within your niche, stop driving around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to service everybody, because what happens is you want clients for life. This is a career, it's not a hobby. So in doing career for life, your actions need to match that. So in times of a valley, if you will, I love connecting with other agents saying, hey, listen, I can help diversify. I will happily pay you a referral fee for any Spanish-speaking clients you have. Or hey, I live all the way in Timbuktu, surprise, 85387, I go to Buckeye, that's where I came from, that's a true story. I'm happy to help you with those clients. And then in exchange, I don't want to be driving down to Gilbert. I am not doing my client a service. I don't know the area like y'all do. I will happily pay the referral. When you start working that way, you gain respect from your clients. They respect you for that. They're going to trust that referral that you give. You build partnerships for life because you're going to be around forever till you're old and crotchety, and so am I, right? And we think there's so many damn people in this industry. There isn't. The real people, it's this big. So I think it matters being able to use this time, this season well, and become wise in how you want to operate your business that way from a referral strategic partner perspective. And then when you're telling a client, hey, I actually have partnerships with other agents, and they see that action, people are blown away because all of a sudden you don't see us as a commission, you saw us as a family and as human beings, and you're trying to service us correctly.
Yeah, good one.
So to get through challenges, I think because my career took off during the short sale era, and sometimes you had to wait 9 months for a paycheck.
Yeah.
I learned very quickly. I also saw how some of the agents that I had worked for as an assistant were just really hitting those valleys really hard after coming down off of a mountain. So I swore I would never be like that. When I'm on the mountains, I keep a lot in reserve so I can coast through the valleys. And I just keep doing what I'm doing. I have an office. And I'm there every morning. And that's my mindset. Oops, I think I did what Katie did.
Whoops.
Hello? So I have that mindset. It says I am still working every day, and if I get calls on a Sunday morning, I'm out to go show houses that afternoon. As far as getting through challenges, definitely finding solutions to those problems. And I've had some doozies in the last 20 years, and they make really interesting stories that we won't have time for now. But sometimes you have to go outside the box and get very creative and what you do, and just go way above and beyond to find a solution. But your clients remember that. And then I just keep doing what I'm doing on social media and stuff, and I might have a slow month or 2 slow months, but then all of a sudden I'm getting business out of nowhere that I wasn't even expecting. So.
I think also for me, this is the time, well, at all times, whenever you deal with another realtor, I have a realtor in the back that I'm closing a deal with today, and I invited her, she's a business buyer, is just treating each other well. In this business, I was in shock to see how many divas.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
Men
It is
and women.
crazy to me. Like I said, I'm from the town of Guadalupe, migrant worker. I also speak Spanish, and I come from nothing. So to me, when I feel that in this business, there's a lot of money to be made. I understand that, but I just feel that there's a lot of realtors that just are so mean and just so cutthroat and just so, you can be aggressive, but you don't have to be mean to the agent that you're dealing with. We're all trying to make a living. So I think for me is work on and always protect your reputation.
Amen.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be that you submit an offer and they're like, I know that agent. That agent, she's difficult, she's this, and now she needs you to take her offer. Of course you take the offer, you're gonna take it to your client. That's the ethical thing to do, that's what we do. But it's kind of difficult. I, as a matter of fact, when I represent the seller and I bring all these offers, I've had clients ask me, have you worked with these agents? I never bash an agent. But I feel that it's important to just work on your reputation. To me, that's very important. That's the way I was raised. Your name is all you have.
Yep.
So don't be a diva. I don't care how much money you make, at the end of the day, you're human. What goes up comes down.
Yep.
Don't be a diva, and be humble, and just, understand that they're trying to make a living too, and you don't have to be mean, and you don't have to slam dunk them, you don't have to do any of that. Just be a good person.
That is such great advice, and we don't have to name any names, but we all know agents during the
Oh, yes,
pandemic.
we know.
When houses were flying off the shelf like toilet paper, that they refused to return phone calls, emails, texts, right? We don't want to ever be that person. It's not the people we want to be.
Agreed.
So this is my last question, then I'm going to open it up to the audience and see if we have any questions out here. We'll field them, but long-term strategy to continue your successful real estate careers, right? All of you have said you've been through the ups and downs of some of our, most enduring economic climates. What are your thoughts on continuing to build, grow, and be successful over the next 5-10 years? Who wants to answer
Let's
that?
go all the way down. Shall we all?
I have to gather my thoughts on that.
Okay.
Let's start.
So this is going to go back to my metaphysical training. You have a vision of yourself. When you close your eyes, you can see who you're supposed to be. So you have to work that backwards. Every day you vision that person you're supposed to be. So for me, that woman had a metaphysical degree. That woman was a spiritual psychologist. That woman was a best-selling author. That woman made a movie. I haven't made that yet. But curiosity and achievements that I want to achieve is what keeps me going. Real estate funds that. Real estate is part of my metaphysical foundation because it is energy in which I'm matching the family to the house with, right? It all fits my soul God work. But when I think of who I am in the future, it's always that vision of who I know I can be, and she's extraordinary. So I always work it backwards. And my goal is to be her, to become my future.
I'm not ready.
As far as planning my future, so I'm big time into, I love everything that they've said, I totally agree. Vision boards though, vision boards help me tremendously. I am that checklist person, I am very extremely detail oriented, and I love that, and I've done that since 3rd grade. I had a teacher, I used to not do my homework. My mom was a single mom, we were poor, whatever. But I had a teacher in 3rd grade who made me take a notebook, and I had to write down everything I was supposed to do at night, and then I had to check it off, and my mom had to initial it. And I still to this day use a notebook each and every day, and I write my name on the top just like my 3rd grade teacher taught me. I write my name and the day and the date, and then I do a little swoop-de line, and it makes me feel good, whatever, and then I get to check those check boxes. That's my personality. It doesn't need to work for you, but that's who I am. So I have a big vision list for the year, and I set my goals. We do this as a family with our kids even. Our 13-year-old might put a fox on her vision board. She wants to get a fox. Well, I know it's not going to happen, but I love her vision.
Maybe it will.
I love her vision, and I love that that's something that she wants to achieve. Your dreams should scare you, and they should be big. And you have to go for it. I mean, if I could tell my kids anything, or anyone that I love anything, it's to go after what you love, your dreams, make them big. They might be scary, but you're your biggest advocate. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to come dig you out of the trenches. You have to be your own best advocate. You have to fight for you.
This is what's unconventional. But I told Kristen I'm going to sit in that bed with him when it's time to end things, like when it's done. And I'm going to be there because I don't want any regrets, and I want to be there for my kids. So it's a big goal of mine. It's something that's very important, and I know I need to create my business in such a way that will allow me to be there, however long that takes. But that's my commitment to him and I. Then I got this other baby daddy. That's a whole nother co-parenting, high confidence bullshit going on, still in court, never ending, 6 figures in legal fees, right? So I work to support legal fees, plus my own bills and my responsibilities. I pay child support, 50-50, boss lady. But it's part of my goals, right? Like I planned those things 5 to 10 years out. I have to go in thinking that court is never gonna end. So I've got to be able to provide a life that way, because I don't want to lose my house because I'm paying a lawyer. So I just keep working, and I don't stay focused on the dollar, I stay focused on the intention. Get up and work even when you don't want to work. I think that I'm in this place in my life. I'll be 41 this year. Never thought I'd be divorced twice. Certainly never thought I'd have 5 kids. I thought maybe worst case scenario I'd have 1 in my life. So life doesn't look anywhere close to what it looks like. And I've always had kids. I've had kids longer than I haven't in this lifetime, and that's never going to change. What I'm learning now is my older 3 are out of the house. I have my other 2 kids only half the time. I've never learned how to live life by myself. So the problem was I don't know my butt from my face. I don't know what I'm supposed to be when you take that part away, because I've always worked as a mom with kids around. And so this 5 to 10 years for me, I don't know what I look like. I don't know what I want my business to look like. I'm starting to get the hang of when my kids aren't around, I can work longer, right? And I can work differently. But when they're there, going back to family, I want to be present because I don't get to have them. I took them for granted because I had them all the time, so I could yell at them over stupid shit, right? Leaving their dirty chonies all over the place. Whatever, the toilet seat. Dude, I tell you, it's rattled me. It's changed my life where I'm like, I want to be present when they're there, and when they're not, I will hustle and I will grind and I will do what I need to do. Yes. That matters, right? And then chase those dreams, because I have dreams to write a book. I have dreams to get back into public speaking. I used to do it, but I'm evolving. I'm going back I'm speaking differently than I never envisioned this plan, right? So I think I'm very goal oriented too. I have a planner YouTube channel, by the way. I'll forward it to you, because I'm a planner whore. But I am learning that this season of my life, I can't live with a planner. So I don't have a planner right now. I just have a notebook of things I gotta get done, right? And that's all I'm keeping up with, and I give myself permission to be fluid and that. So I think 5 to 10 years to me personally is way too far out to plan right now, right? I'm planning right now for the next 12 to 18 months, and I'm good with that. I give myself permission to be okay with that.
I want to just say a little something to you about that. So notice vision board, vision, but she can't quite picture herself 5 to 10 years from now. But you just said her. She's a published author. She's a public speaker. She has a brokerage in Texas.
You did.
I know.
I brought a towel just in case, you see?
Her kids are out of the house. You do know what she looks like. You do have the vision of her. Now you just need to work it backwards. It may not be 5 to 10 years, but you see her clearly. So don't think that you don't. Just had to throw that in there, sorry.
Thank you.
And that's why we hang out with people like this.
Yes, that's it, they can love you well. Well, I also don't have a dollar amount that I set, it's just intent and what my goals are. And on my vision board, I didn't have a fox, but I did have chickens. And I did get chickens this year. So that was, one thing, the vision board I see, it's like, okay, that was a very
Don't
nice
forget to
accomplishment.
look at your vision board and see what you've accomplished. There was one year I was like, man, I'm a loser. I didn't hit my goal. And my husband's like, did you look at your vision board? Like, you hit everything that was on your vision board. And I was like, whoa,
That's
that's
huge,
true.
because even when the market started to slow, I'm thinking, oh, I'm not gonna make it. And I look at a vision board, and it's like, okay, well, there's 7 right there that's already accomplished. I'm done. So, but I'm still, again, treating it like a job, because I never know when the next little period's going to come. So it's just, you just keep at it. But it is important to have goals, but also make them obtainable. If it's your first year in real estate, don't go out and say, okay, 500,000 in commissions this year. Try to do something, make it obtainable, and if you can get past that, then, aim past that. Like somebody said, aim for the sun, and if you hit a star, you did great.
For me, I always like to I had to have a meeting by myself and define what was success for me. Like, what is that number? What would make me happy for my personality? And I think that that's important. You have to see what will make you happy. You may want to be a millionaire too. You may be okay with making $250,000. What is your success, your level of success? And I also want to add is be smart with your money. Because if you're not smart with your money, you're like a dog trying to catch its tail. And so be smart with your money so you're not beating yourself up and you're just trying to find that new deal. And so I feel that's very important. But for me, and this may sound cheesy, I always pray to God and ask God, bring me those people that need help. Bring me those people that need guidance. And that has worked a lot for me, my faith, and just praying to God to just bring me the people that need the representation and that I can protect them.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. I can't tell you how amazing you all are. Each of you individually, you're just incredible. But before we call this a day, I want to open up to any questions. Who has a question for any of them?
Gentleman in the back there.
I don't need the microphone, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
And thank you, panel members, this is great information. I think you all did a great job. But with all the beautiful women in this room, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about realtor safety. Maybe share a nugget or two what you do, like if you go to take a listing at a strange house, or you do the buddy system at open houses, or if you deal with buyers that you've never met before. If there's a nugget that you could share with somebody here, it might help them out in the future.
I think we all have our little tidbits on that.
On that second one, all right.
So for me, I'm very fortunate. I'm able to, my husband works out of the house. He is in sales. So
My husband works out of our home. He is also in sales, but a different type of sales. And I make my appointments in the evening or on the weekends when he's able to go with me. I take the girlfriend, take my cousin, or FaceTime. I'll go somewhere to a listing and I'll take my cousin on FaceTime, like, okay, here I am. And I'm like, so if anyone comes up to me like, oh, you're on FaceTime, this is my cousin, whatever. But that's what I do, is just try to take someone with me. I don't go by myself.
Smart.
Okay, so when I've met buyers, meeting it the first time in the house instead of the office, because sometimes that's just the way it works out. I make sure at least 2 of the agents know to check in on me within, I give them a certain time, give me a phone call just to check in with me. If I hang up on you, everything's fine. I have also had one of my agent friends on the phone with me until the buyers pulled up, and I said, will you just stay on the line with me until I get it, just stay for the whole listing. And she actually did for 45 minutes. She stayed on the line just to make sure that everything was okay. I also, and this is probably controversial to some, but I have a 6 Sauer that I carry in my purse. And just kind of depending, keeping to a certain amount of distance, and it really kind of depends, because sometimes you gauge your clients and it's, oh, these people are sweet, everything's going to be fine. And then sometimes it's like, okay, well, I want to give you a little bit of time before I feel safe with you. And so having that in my purse just always has been a comfort. So one, or sometimes it's several of those things. It's just I take it situation by situations. And I've only done that maybe less than a dozen times ever, meeting a stranger at a house.
So I don't meet strangers. I don't, because all of my business is referral based. So every single client that I have has truly been referred by somebody that was a past client or somebody from my sphere. So they literally, I have never had that worry about having to go open and meet with a stranger. If anything, I usually end up bringing like goldfish or something because they have kids or whatnot. One thing I will say though, so I don't have that challenge, right? I stay very aware of my surroundings. So I would never, ever show up looking like this to go show a house. I'm usually in yoga pants, running shoes, or Converse. My joke is in case I gotta hop a fence, then I can damn jump. But it's really, there was a situation about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, where we went to go look at a house. So it was Josh and Teresa, their little boy Rowan, and myself. It was at night, and I actually had my son Baker with us. And we went to go open the door, but I stay so vigilant. I watch too much Dateline, y'all. I really do. It's like dead bodies floating and things popping out of bushes. But I look, and when I went to go open the door, something felt not correct about it. And they had a light popped on in the house. And I was like, that's weird because it's vacant. Because I look at the notes to see if it's vacant or occupied, because I've also found a naked man in a house. That was a long time ago. But anyways, but I looked and there were feet. And so what we did right away is we walked away, called the police immediately, and it ended up being that there was a squatter there. So I think it's important to stay very visual, because sometimes like when you're helping a client, you get caught up talking and, oh, look at the beautiful neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. No, stay freaking focused by that door. Or if it's about to unlock and you're putting that key in, think to yourself, did I really unlock the door or was it already unlocked? Yeah. Right? Notice those things. The fence, does it look distressed on the side? Is there anything giving you that feedback? Are you hearing noise in the house that should not be coming from the house because you've scheduled the showing? So I tend to be more spidey sense in that regard, in that way, but just not the client side.
So same thing. I actually carry a taser that is also a flashlight. I don't go anywhere without this. It hooks onto my hand. If it comes off, it won't work. It will zap, I don't remember, it's the highest BPTs or whatever it is that'll
You're waving
shock
that way too
you.
close to your mouth.
It's not on. You have to turn it on. It actually will work as a real flashlight. So most people just think I'm carrying a flashlight. I also have a lipstick taser. I also, if I feel the need, will, take other precautions. But I think it's really important to make sure that somebody knows where you're going and what time you're going to be there. When I show up for a listing appointment, I don't always know the people. Even if it was a referral to me, I don't know them. They could just have been, working with somebody. I don't know if that person's truly a criminal or not, or has devious thoughts. I have no idea if somebody called me off my sign or my car or whatever. So I make sure that when I'm going to a listing,
their background, and immediately, if there's a red flag, then don't take them. Use your discernment. If it's a listing, it's the same thing. You can look up Monsoon. You can look up who the owner is. You can bin verify their name. You can preempt an attack by being the private investigator for yourself. I do carry a blade, usually right in here. I'm highly trained. I can use a katana, I can use a gun, I can use a taser, but it is screening those people first, and then you won't have the problem. When it comes to an open house, though, there's a few new agents. You can't always get someone there. Your partners will come, but they can't always stay there. You have to do the same thing. Allow them in the door. Don't ever let them behind you. Go sit down. Please, help yourself around. I'll be right here. Leave that front door open.
turn your phone on, do a live while they're there, so you're live on Instagram. You can feel energy. You know if they're good or bad. Make it impossible for them by making your whole entire situation inaccessible.
So I really like your taser. I would like to know where you got it.
Amazon.
From Amazon.
And they won't ship it to Arizona though, so
Oh.
you might have to, if you have a family member somewhere else, get it there.
I have taser knuckles that fit on your knuckles.
So I carry around a mace that looks like a lipstick, and it's kind of creepy because my kids have pulled it out of my purse. Mom, what's this? Also, I have a Sharpie that's a legit Sharpie. There's another realtor friend of mine that has made it, and it looks like it would be a marker, but it's a shank. So you open it, and so I carry that around. So if you're carrying a clipboard or whatever at your open house, he's made those for me. So if anybody needs one, I'm sure Vince will make one for you too.
That's awesome. Great question, really great question. Thank you for asking. And I love all of these suggestions. What else do we have from the audience? Any other questions? I know there's just some dying answers you're waiting for. Anything?
Nobody's done a good job. Nobody's done
Anything from any of our new agents? I know you're a new agent, right? Any questions that you're dying to know?
Actually, they answered all of them, right?
We're either
I'm
terrified
not
or
an
she
agent,
knows
but I
that,
know
right?
all of you.
Well, I have a question for you. What made you decide to get into real estate?
Ultimately, it was the opportunity for financial freedom and to have more time with my kids. So I have two little ones, a 4 and almost 2-year-old, and so I was tired of working for other people. So I started being told what to do and not feeling appreciated for the amount of work that I was putting in.
So did you learn something from
I
this?
learned a lot. Yeah.
Good.
And I want to say, with your babies, you can bring them on showings with you.
Oh, yes.
You can. You know, just explain, hey, I'm very family oriented. I can't always not have them with me for showings. And part of, you know, if they have children too, please bring your kids. Get a little basket for those kids. Don't think that you cannot bring your children, because again, discernment, if they get offended that you brought your children, that's not your client.
But also, I'll throw this out to you, so, because I hook are my children, right? So Baker and Witten are the younger ones now, they're 8 and 6. What I do, and I did this for my older 3 too, is I got my kids name badges, and it says their name, and it says Mom's Helper. And I love giving that. So they love putting on their badge when they go out. It gives them a role and a responsibility, and then the kids know that if there's other kids, I tell them what their names are gonna be, and we pack, again, the goldfish or whatever, and their job is to go play with the kids while we're playing in the house, right? Keeps them entertained. But I love teaching them because, and my oldest is 23. They have seen me in a real estate career their entire life, and I think, and it's not just about women, this is for men and women. I think that if you teach your children these types of life skills from that young age, you teach them to see the world differently, where then they can chase those dreams and they can see that it's possible, that nothing ever stood in their way. But giving them that role and responsibility, it's age appropriate, and it helps them, and then they feel so proud of themselves that they got to help you too, because they love you, right? You're their parent, and they want to do good, even if they want to be bad sometimes. They want to be good, right?
My kids weren't like that. They were running around, tearing up the house, but you know.
Yeah, mine are hellions too, so it can't be wrong.
Any other questions from the audience?
I have a question.
Oh, good.
Would you all identify yourselves as just very naturally driven, or how do you handle that if you don't feel that drive all the time to produce? Like what do you have in place where you're like, oh, I just don't have it today, or I'm not feeling it? Do you have systems that you follow that keep you? We know you do. We know you do with your checklists, but yeah. So that's mainly my.
I would say just surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded like you, because no, you're not driven every single day, and it's okay to take a day off.
Yes.
It's okay to get your nails done or go have a glass of wine in the middle of the day. I watched one of my girlfriends post a video the other day. She had a glass of rosé at 9:30 in the morning, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to take a day off.
Self-care.
Yes, yes.
And I would say get creative. Yeah, you can get burnt out in this business. So what else do you like to do? What do you like to do? What are you good at? What are you really good
I'm
at?
all about the self-care. I was just curious if
No,
you
no, but seriously, do you have a
Yeah, I'm
hobby? Do
super
you have?
outdoorsy. I work out. Yeah, I do a lot
Okay,
of
so
different things. Yeah,
it's
hiking.
okay. There you go. You're gonna go hiking. You're gonna go live, and you're gonna say, "I don't feel like working today."
Yeah.
See, but you are working in that aspect. You're taking something that you love, allowing your people to get to know you, and you could have someone be like, "Well, you know what? She's hiking too. I'm gonna look through her page. Wow, I can relate. I'm gonna call her. I like her work ethic."
And
See?
she does it. She posts videos
Yeah.
when she's out hiking or working out or doing her DIY projects. People like that. People want to see you. So even though you're not working, you're still working by
Change
people
the
showing
hustle.
it's you.
Change the hustle.
Yeah. So there's a book called, and I'll say this, last year because of this divorce crap, I made the least amount of money I've made in 6 years. I made $80,000, and I kept seeing that number, and then all of these elements, my self-esteem, my confidence, the traumas, everything happening, I could not get out of bed, like I just couldn't get out.
Yep.
And then I was getting harder on myself because I'm like, snap out of this. God, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, get going, come on. And I couldn't. And the more I would try, the more my arthritis would act up, the more my anxiety would trigger. And so finally, thank God for good therapists, but I did a couple things. First thing, I did ketamine treatment. I tried that and it worked for me to try to help lift some of the fog. Because I think sometimes it doesn't matter how strong you try to be and how you can be, and you can go to the gym and do all these things, right? But sometimes you just need help. You need a little bit of help to help get you beyond. But then something that I did earlier this year, and I listened to Mel Robbins. She has a book, and she does the high five challenge. And so that has been something that has truly been pivotal for me. And it's about a mirror. So like you give a high five to a mirror, right, every morning, and you look at yourself for who you are and where you're at. And so every day, I do this every day. I wake up, I go take a pee, I high five